Hello, this is Sujata Kancharla. Today I am going to discuss about president. I am going to discuss about election of president, qualification, oath and salary of president, term impeachment and vacancy of president. These topics are very much useful for UPSC candidates and state exam candidates, and also every other person can know about president. Let us discuss about introduction. Articles 50 to 78 in Part 5 of the Constitution deal with the Union Executive. The, the Union Executive consists of President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, and Attorney General of India. The President is the head of the Indian state. He is the first citizen of India and acts as the symbol of integrity, unity, and solidarity of the nation. Let us discuss about election of president. The president elected not directly by the people but by the members of electoral college consisting of the elected members of both the houses of parliament, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states, and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories of Delhi and Pondicherry. The nominated members of both the houses of parliament, the nominated members of the state legislative assemblies, the members of state legislative councils, and the nominated members of the legislative assemblies of the Delhi and Puducherry do not participate in the election of the president. Where an assembly is dissolved, the member cease to be qualified to vote in presidential election, even if fresh elections to the dissolved assembly are not held before the presidential election. The Constitution provides that there shall be uniformity in the scale of representation of different states as well as parity between the states as a whole and the Union at the election of the President. To achieve this, the number of votes which each elected member of the Legislative Assembly of each state and Parliament is entitled to cast at such election shall be determined in the following manner. Every elected member of the Legislative Assembly of a state shall have as many votes as there are multiples of 1000 in the quotient obtained by dividing the total population of the state by total number of elected members in the state legislative assembly. Every elected member of either house of parliament shall have such a number of votes as may be obtained by dividing the total number of votes of all MLAs of all states by total number of elected members of parliament. The president's election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, and the voting is by secret ballot. In order to declare elected to the office of president, he must secure a fixed quota of votes. The quota of votes is determined by dividing the total number of valid votes polled by the number of candidates to be elected. Here, only one candidate is to be elected as president, plus one and adding one to the quotient. The formula can be expressed as electoral quota equals to total number of valid votes polled by 1 plus 1 plus 1. Each member of electoral college is given only one ballot paper. The voter will casting his vote is required to indicate his preferences by marking 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. against the names of candidates. In the first phase, the first preference votes are counted. In case a candidate secures the required quota in this phase, he is declared elected. Otherwise, the process of transfer of votes is set in motion. The ballots of the candidate securing the least number of first preference votes are cancelled and his second preference votes are transferred to the first preference votes of other candidates. This process continues till a candidate secures the required quota. If the election of a person as president is declared void by the Supreme Court, acts done by him before the date of such declaration of the Supreme Court are not invalidated and continue in remain in force. Some members of the Constituent Assembly criticized the system of indirect election for the president as undemocratic and proposed the idea of direct election because the indirect election of the president is in harmony with the parliamentary system of government envisaged in the Constitution. Under this system, the president is only a nominal executive and the real powers are vested in the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. It would have been anomalous to have the president elected directly by the people and not give him any real power. And also, the direct election of the president would have been very costly and time and energy consuming due to the vast size of the electorate. Some members of the Constituent Assembly suggested that the president should be elected by the members of the two houses of parliament alone. The makers of the constitution did not prefer this as parliament dominated by one political party would have invariably chosen a candidate from that party and such a president could not represent the states of the Indian Union. The present system makes the president as representative of the union and the state equally. Proportional representation takes place where two or more seats are to be filled. In case of the president, the vacancy is only one. It could better be called as preferential or alternative vote system. Next, let us discuss about qualifications for election as president. A person is to be eligible for election as president he should be a citizen of India, he should have completed 35 years of age, he should be qualified for election as a member of the Lok Sabha, he should not hold any office of profit under the union government or any state government or any local authority or any other public authority. Further, the nominated members of a candidate for election to the office of president must be subscribed by at least 50 electors as proposers and 50 electors as seconders. Every candidate has to make a security deposit of 15,000 in the Reserve Bank of India. Now let us discuss about oath. Before entering upon his office, the president has to make and subscribe to an oath or affirmation. In his oath, the president swears to faithfully execute the office, to preserve, protect, and defend the constitution and the law, to devote himself to the service and well-being of the people of India. The oath of office to the president is administered by the Chief Justice of India, and in his absence, the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court available. Now let us discuss about conditions of president's office. The conditions lays down that he should not be a member of either House of Parliament or a House of the State Legislature. If any such person is elected as president, he is deemed to have vacated his seat in that house on the date on which he enters upon his office as president. He should not hold any other office of profit. Entitled without payment of rent to the state of his official residence. He is entitled to such emoluments, allowances, and privileges as may be determined by Parliament. His emoluments and allowances cannot be diminished during his term of office. He enjoys personal immunity from legal liability for his official acts. He cannot be arrested or imprisoned. However, after giving 2 months' notice, civil proceedings can be instituted against him during his term of office in respect of his personal acts. Now let us discuss about term of president. The president holds office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office. He can resign from his office at any time by addressing the resignation letter to the vice president. Further, he can also remove from office before completion of his term by process of impeachment. The president can hold office beyond his term of 5 years until his successor assumes charge. He is also eligible for re-election to that office. He may be elected for any number of terms. However, in USA, a person cannot be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Now let us discuss about impeachment of president. The president can be removed from office by a process of impeachment for violation of the constitution. The impeachment charges can be initiated by either House of Parliament. The charges should be signed by one-fourth of members of that house, and a 14 days notice should be given to the president. After the impeachment resolution is passed by a majority of two-thirds of the total members of the house, it is sent to the other house, which should investigate the charges. The president has the right to appear and to be represented at such investigation. If the other house also sustains the charges and passes the impeachment resolution by a majority of two-thirds of the total membership, then the president stands removed from his office from the date on which the resolution is so passed. An impeachment is quasi-judicial. The nominated members of either House of Parliament participate in the impeachment of the president, though they do not participate in his election. The elected members of the legislative assemblies of the state and union territories of Delhi and Puducherry do not participate in the impeachment of the president, though they participate in his election. Now let us discuss about vacancy in the president's office. A vacancy in president office can occur because of on the expiry of his tenure of 5 years, by his resignation, on his removal by the process of impeachment, by his death, otherwise, for example, when he becomes disqualified to hold office or when his election is declared void. When the vacancy is going to be caused by the expiration of the term of the sitting president, an election to fill the vacancy must be held before the expiration of the term. In case of any delay in conducting the election of new president by any reason, the outgoing president continues to hold office until his successor assumes charge. If office falls vacant by resignation, removal, death, or otherwise, Then election to fill the vacant should be held within 6 months from the date of the occurrence of such a vacancy. The newly elected president remains in office for a term of 5 years from the date he assumes charge of his office. When the sitting president is unable to discharge his functions due to absence or illness or any other causes, the vice president discharges his functions until the president resumes his office. When any person, Vice President, Chief Justice of India, or the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is acting as President or discharging the functions of the President, he enjoys all the powers and immunities of the President and is entitled to such emoluments, allowances, and privileges as are determined by the Parliament. Thank you. If you like this video, please share, subscribe, comment, and give suggestions.